So
course.
how do you cope with anxiety? We get that question a lot
Ooh,
about anxiety, especially since the pandemic, going back to work, just period, you know? So what would be something that you would tell someone of how to cope with anxiety?
wow. So, yeah, so since the pandemic, I think that anxiety has skyrocketed in a lot of people. And it depends, of course, on what the anxiety is and how, I guess, how significant it is, right? Some of the ways that I tell my clients to cope with anxiety, number one is exercise. Getting that exercise in daily, even like 30 minutes of moving, is really, really helpful for anxiety. Number two is journaling, getting those thoughts out of your head, because often with anxiety, you have rumination and you're thinking, but it's all stuck in your head. So getting those thoughts out of your head onto a piece of paper, having a supportive group of network, like group of friends,
Yeah, that's a good one.
partner, that you can talk to, having a therapist.
Having a therapist.
Therapist or a life coach, somebody also that you feel like you can talk to and let that anxiety out. um, Deep breathing. So deep breathing, if especially if you're feeling anxiety in your body, it's really important that you take some time to deep breathe. It will bring oxygen to your brain and calm down your central nervous system. So everybody's like, oh, it sounds cliche, like, oh, you should deep breathe, but it will really help with anxiety.
Yeah.
You're anxious about going back to work or like tests or things like that, preparation is
Hmm.
really good, making sure that you're prepared. What else is good for
You
anxiety?
know, another one that I recently, like, I knew this, but I kind of didn't know, or I knew, but I just never implemented, right?
Yeah.
If you are prone to anxiety, right, you get super stressed and you get super anxious and nervous, the
Right.
amount of caffeine that you take in,
Yes.
okay?
So what you're
Caffeine,
putting in your body,
absolutely.
huge,
Absolutely.
huge. Yes.
When I,
Yes.
yeah. So whenever, even when I am, I get anxious, and I can tell if I have coffee in the morning at night, I'm like all over the place, right? Like, oh gosh, you know. But if I'm not, I'm way more calmer and able to deal with things, or, you know, different things like that. So
Hmm.
I think that's a good one.